Now, there are some things to suggest that development started as early as 2013, but we can only place an estimate on the footage. Right now, I'm going to say maybe around 2014, they were testing early Reyna development. I mean, look at that dismiss, look at the random effect. Instead of an orb, there's a little bit of a flame. Look at the Guardian and the scope. Look at the map. There's basically a million things we could dissect on how different the game was, and man, oh man, was it different. Even Killjoy was originally supposed to be a robot with what looks like to be a hammer. You could see the turret, you can see the abilities in the bottom, and there was even a random chicken. Bro, like, this game was crazy. This game was straight up crazy. Now, I will admit the time in the bottom right from 2014 all the way to release is basically random. There's no way to predict when they changed Jet to look how Jet is today. There's no reason to understand when they decided to test out a Beyblade as a spike on the ground. It is insane. Like, just the way Jet looks, the way the guns look, the way the icons look at the top, every single thing about the game looks different. Even the map itself is obviously changed up a ton. It's just insane how far they came. I mean, even the way, like, right, this ghost looks, the way this vandal looks, it's all extraordinarily different. And I guess the biggest part on my end is just to see how much the textures change, right? The way the box, like, the way they started developing it definitely looked a lot more like CSGO, and then they found their own style. Now, I'm gonna predict here is the later parts of development. That's why I put 2018 in the corner, because you can see the game looks a lot more polished and more like the game we know. They were doing the network test. This is obviously based off of the early trailer and teaser of Valorant before it was actually called Valorant. At this point, I assume the majority of the guts and major mechanics of the game are concluded, so I only was able to find as much as I could from early development, but man, was it crazy to look at. But even with the earliest footage out of the way, this game actually changed a ton from near release or early beta to what we know today. I think a lot of you know that, but it is pretty jarring to see. It had a lot of CSGO era vibes right at the start when they were still developing, the way the boxes and textures looked, and then it changed into this, its own art style, but the boxes were orange, the textures were way more flat, the colors were darker. It was just completely different. Even the way Viper's hands looked, the gloves, some of the animations were changed up. It was very, very, very different. Even the kills, right? Like, there's no skull, it just shows right there at the bottom, it just says kill. You can see the textures here, man, on the site look crazy different. Crazy different. It's not even close. It even looks like the boxes are way higher there right in front of us. And things continue to change. Now, this early part is when I even noticed the UI is yellow when it's put the wall down. But this early part is basically with the earliest content creators who were already established were able to play, including people like Shroud and other big names. This is what they tested out. And I would have loved to play this early. Right here. This is, I'm pretty sure this is from an exact content creator. Look at the buy menu. Look at everything. Literally everything looks so freaking different. This is actually from a game. They were already testing it. They were already playing it. This is the first footage we got, even the animations, and I'm pretty sure the FOV was slightly adjusted as well. But at this point, things started changing fast. We started getting the official icons. We got the official kill banners at the bottom. Things started to polish up pretty rapidly here. But it's just kind of funny because I remember even when Valorant released like this, in retrospect, it still very much felt like a beta. But eventually, the game released, and it was pretty much a banger on release. Things polished up quick. They changed the colors, the lighting, etc., etc. We got our battle pass, and we got our very first episode. Now, there's actually a lot of hype, but there wasn't as much viewership and overall players as the early beta, thanks to that huge inflated number on the Twitch drops. But nonetheless, it did drop in June, and Riot did come out swinging. We got Reyna almost immediately, as well as Spike Rush shortly after. Also, the only skin and cosmetic I'm going to mention in this entire video, which I know is a little bit weird to some people, is the Elder Flame. I know there's the Prime, which was the OG. There's a lot of skins, but in the end, they're just cosmetic. But Elder Flame was a key moment in which skins were looked at different, was the most expensive, and eventually led to things like Zed. Moving on from there, though, Deathmatch and Killjoy were added. Deathmatch was needed right from the start, and people were ecstatic that Deathmatch came pretty quickly. Like, Riot did come out of the door swinging. There is no doubt. Now, Deathmatch is far from perfect, but with all that being said, hopefully they continue to improve it. Now, Killjoy, on the other hand, was quite the controversial launch. Before even people got to play or they watched the trailers and judged. I remember infamously, Hiko said that the turret will ruin the game. Like, there were people who were extraordinarily aggressive on Killjoy, but in the end, lover or hater, she was okay. Icebox followed suit, and man oh man, this was also controversial. Now people actually enjoy the map, and to be fair, they did rework it, they did listen to the community, but I continue to love Icebox till today. On with that, Sky came flying into Valorant, no pun intended. She was unique at the time, very different, and still prominent till today, even if her play is slowly going down with a lot of the changes. And I'm gonna admit, this is all still just 2020, and it really goes to show. That was November. Now they ended 2020 on a banger, which was December, where they gave us Snowball Fight. And I'm gonna need to defend it a little bit here. Love it or hate it, they did something for us. Right now, at the time of recording this, it is actually December 2022, and it was quite a depressing Christmas for Valorant. No Snowball Fight, no nothing. Basically Swift Play. And I did enjoy it. I do like Swift Play, but even the skins weren't exactly Christmas, and we got no game mode, so a little bit of a yikes. They definitely fumbled a lot since their early days. Moving on from there, we're entering 2021, and for the sake of the video, I'm gonna bunch up the changes in years now. So in 2021, they continued to swing. It was really 2022 where Valorant took a very deep dive into low amounts of content, and as you're watching this, it's going to be jarring how different it is. In 2021, we got Yoru, a very unique agent. No matter love him or hate him, Yoru was extremely fun. He came out of the gates extremely weak. They buffed him, they nerfed him. He's buggy till today. He continues to have bugs, but he's great. He was a fantastic launch. They also launched Astra in 2021. Same idea. Astra was very strong. Then they nerfed her to the ground and never touched her again, which is extremely disheartening on a balanced team side, but it is very disingenuous to say that Astra herself isn't unique, right? I mean, going into Astral form, controlling the map, she was unique. I remember how excited we were during the playtest as content creators and how much we were trying to learn. They also launched Escalation as well as Replication. Escalation, of course, being its own unique take on gun game, and Replication being a 5v5 where we all replicate each other. And sure, while they aren't the perfect Swift play that we always wanted at the time, they were unique, they were fun, and they're always welcome when they want to add new content. And 2021 didn't even end there. 2021 also had a Breeze launch, which was also a controversial map, but I'm pretty much believing all maps are controversial at the start and loved over time. Breeze is basically an aim diff map, and I think till now it's pretty contended, not as much as another map that we'll get into in just a second, but still, 2021 didn't end there. You might be like, oh, 2 new game modes, 2 new agents, and a map. 2021 was great, but no, they continued. They added account leveling, which of course, kind of useless in progression. I made a whole video on that, but on top of that, they added KO in 2021. Yes, KO, again, very unique. The first one to bring suppression. There was a lot of things to test with him, and he's still prominent till today, even if he's not overpowered. Then, talking about overpowered, they added Chamber. On top of that, yes, they added Chamber as well. Chamber, extremely popular. At the time, people said underwhelming. I said he'll be overwhelming, and lo and behold, he was overpowered with the highest pick rate up until recently when they nerfed him to the ground where he deserves to be. 2021 also brought on Fracture. Yeah, they also brought on Fracture. On top of now, Fracture is definitely the most contended map. Until today, it's still a very strong love-hate relationship. A lot of people dislike Fracture with a burning passion. I don't have that feeling towards maps too much, so I like the variety. I am cool with Fracture. And that's how they closed out 2021, with all that content. Yoru, Astra, Escalation, Replication, Breeze, Account Leveling, KO, Chamber, and Fracture. So let's head into 2022. In 2022, we got Neon, which of course, a lovely agent. I think she's one of those ones very similar to Yoru, very high fun, high skill ceiling. If you really enjoy playing her, you end up getting addicted to playing her, but she's not overwhelmingly played by the majority due to that high skill ceiling and niche pick. But they also released Fade. Not too shabby. Fade had a lot of hype. Oh my god, I think one of my biggest, the most amount of views in the shortest amount of time was my Fade release, and she was very hyped. Now, a lot of people kind of got bored of her, but I digress. As an initiator, she is a ton of fun even till today. We also got Pearl. Pearl, I think, is a map people very much hated right at the start, and then slowly adjusted to more rapidly than other maps, and Pearl is still in a pretty interesting spot today. I don't mind it. Following that, Riot pulled a fast one on us. I don't know what happened with the naming. We got Harbor, and ever since Harbor, the game kind of fell off quite a lot because it's almost the end of this video, as you can tell. That was 2022. It ended in December with Swift Play, which, a round of applause, I love. It's the reason I'm playing more Valorant today, because I want to be a little bit more casual, but I want content. And that wraps 2022. Neon, Fade, Pearl, Harbor, Swift Play. And while I can't complain too much, though those are 5 major things to the game, it is a far cry from 2020 and 2021 especially. So here's to a new year and hoping Riot steps it up in 2023. I do have, this title does say 2023 in it, and there's a reason, is because we know a new map is coming in 2023, right around the corner. There's already some leaks. There's going to be at least a new agent right after that. On top of which, there are some skin lines I can't really speak about under NDA, but I know the community will be excited for. That will be 2023, and hopefully much more.